VA loans. So the normal rule with VA loans is the Department of Veteran Affairs, they prohibit VA buyers from paying real estate agent commissions or brokerage fees. That's the normal rule. Now, as of August 10th of 2024, this year, a couple weeks ago, the VA temporarily lifted this ban to allow VA buyers to remain competitive in the marketplace. So now VA buyers, they can contribute money to the buyer's agent's compensation, where before they couldn't do that. And that makes sense. I mean, the Department of Veteran Affairs was like, look, we don't want our veterans to not be able to be competitive in the marketplace and to make it harder for veterans to find a home. So, they did the right thing. The VA temporarily lifted their ban on buyers being able to pay their agent commission. So right now, the Department of Veteran Affairs, they're considering a rulemaking process and a permanent rule change. So eventually, more likely than not, this is going to become the default rule, and the VA is going to change from their traditional rule that they've had. But right now, it's just a temporary ban. So the big kind of 10,000 foot view philosophical question that we keep getting asked is, what is the impact of this going to be? How does the settlement affect home sellers and home buyers? That's a frequently asked question that the NAR answered. Kind of the way they're framing this is that it doesn't change much, but it's kind of one of those things, you could see it as a hindrance or you could see it as an opportunity. Like if you're a buyer's agent, you could look at it like, this is just giving me more ways that I can get paid. Is it going to change things? Probably. People act based on incentives. If you make it harder to be a buyer's agent, there will probably be less buyer's agents. If you make it easier to be a listing agent, there will probably be more people that are primarily listing agents. People go where the incentives are, but it's just on, you as the realtor, us as the title company, to understand the new forms, to understand how everybody is going to get paid. And it's just going to take education. It's just going to take time for people to adapt, to these rules. And, that's what's going to happen. So another question is, what should I tell home buyers? So this is like if you're the realtor, what should I tell home buyers and sellers that they need to know about these changes? If it were me, my thought would be, these changes were put into effect to make things more transparent, hopefully, to make sure that buyers and sellers understand how everybody is being paid. And if you're the buyer's agent, it's going to be beneficial to you when you have that buyer sign that buyer agency agreement. It's going to be beneficial for you to sit down with them and explain how you're going to get paid, and explain to them on the front end that if the seller's agent or the seller won't agree to pay you, then there's a situation where the buyer might be on the hook for paying you. And you can frame that, in a better way than I said it, but explain to them the value that you're bringing. Look, I've got X number of years of real estate experience. I'm going to find you a home that you love. I'm going to negotiate for you. I'm going to make sure that everybody's compliant with these forms. I'm going to put your best interest first. I'm going to make sure that you're protected. You're going to have to sell your value as a buyer's agent, but the conversation with the buyer's agency form, have that up front and have that difficult conversation about money right out of the gate, and let them know, because you're bringing this value, you're going to expect to get paid. And you can get paid by the listing agent, you can get paid by the seller, or you can get paid by the buyer if they sign this form. But make sure that they know that they may have to pay you, and they may have to bring more money to closing in order to pay you, because you're providing a valuable service. And that's an uncomfortable conversation to have, because people are uncomfortable talking about money in the society that we live in. But better to know on the front end. If they're not willing to pay you as the buyer's agent, better to know right out of the gate before you spend weeks and weeks and months working with people to get them into a home, for them at the end of the transaction just to say, I'm not paying you. Like, better know up front, your time is valuable with what you do. In order to keep you from spinning your wheels, have that conversation early, up front, either as you're getting them to sign the buyer's agency form or before.